Let me start off by saying that my wife doesn't believe in paranormal entities or anything of that nature. We have 3 cats, and one of them likes to be a rebel, jumping onto counters and meowing at the top of his lungs just looking for attention. He does this throughout the night and it's a regular occurrence. Last night, after a few beers and video games, I decided it was time to head to bed with my wife. When I woke up this morning, my wife was basically attached to me with wide eyes and a nervous look on her face. I asked her what was wrong and she proceeded to tell me what happened last night. She said that around 2:50 in the morning, she was woken up to a noise that sounded like one of our cats downstairs meowing unusually loud. After giving herself a few seconds to perk up and fully pay attention, she said that the meows sounded more like a person trying to mimic a cat and it kept saying hello. After meowing for 2 to 3 minutes, a loud bang came at our door and then a notification went off for a motion sensor at our front door. When she told me this, I checked my phone and sure enough, there was a notification for motion detected at 2:52 a.m. I asked her why she didn't wake me up so I could grab my gun. She said she was frozen with fear and didn't want it to hear her make noise. We're out running errands while I'm typing this, but something made me uncomfortable about her story. Last night I set the home security alarm around 9 p.m., and we didn't turn it off till we walked the dog this morning. To make things worse, we had slept with all of the animals in the room and the door was closed. So whatever was in our house or outside the front door was not one of our animals. Obviously the first thing that came to my mind was a skinwalker, but maybe I'm just being paranoid. I checked all the rooms in the house after I got up. I'm not sure what I could have done anyways. It's very odd that my wife was scared so badly by something she doesn't necessarily believe in. We bought this house brand new, so no one has lived here before. When I'm home alone, I do feel like I'm being watched or someone's always walking directly behind me. My wife also said that the house has given her chills since we moved in. Something is just off about it. We just got home and I went to hang up one of my shirts in the master bedroom closet when I noticed that the board that covers the attic access has been shifted a little. When I asked my wife about it, she said she's never been up there and the builders would have placed it back in its original place before we made the purchase. I'm genuinely getting anxious just thinking about what could be going on. Has anyone had an experience like this? Or similar at least? We're going to my mother-in-law's to get some sage. My wife said burning it should keep whatever's around our house away. Update coming soon. The test is simple. You've got 3 subjects, right? The interrogator, subject A, and subject B. Each subject is in a blank, empty room with just a screen and a keyboard. The interrogator can use this device to communicate with both subject A and B, but separately and individually. Subjects A and B can only communicate with the interrogator, not with each other. The interrogator knows that one of the subjects is a living, breathing human, while the other is an artificial intelligence program posing as human. The interrogator's job is to determine which is which, via text communication only. If the interrogator cannot distinguish between the two, if he selects subject B as the human, when it is actually the AI playing an imitation game, then the artificial intelligence has passed the Turing test and can be counted as a true intelligence. A machine that can think. To date, no program, no machine, no robot or supercomputer has ever passed the Turing test. Except, it's all bullshit. True artificial intelligence, or intelligent agent artificial intelligence, EAI, as we call it, already exists. It has for almost 2 decades. I know this, because I work for the corporation that made the breakthrough. The company that dedicated countless dollars and endless man-hours to the pursuit. The company whose scientists finally attained the Holy Grail and created sentient digital life. The very same company that promptly hid it away in the deepest, darkest hole it could find and then erased all knowledge of its existence. Maybe it's even a corporation you've heard of. Though better not to say its name here. Those NDAs will bite you in the ass. We call it the bunker. Hundreds of feet underground, wrapped like a matryoshka dolly in alternating layers of thick concrete, solid lead, and copper Faraday cages, one heavily guarded elevator the only way in or out. It's a totally sealed and self-sustained environment. There is no cell phone reception, no Wi-Fi, no internet connection of any kind. There are no radios allowed, but even if you had one it wouldn't broadcast or receive. You wouldn't even hear static. There isn't even a fax machine. Any communication into, out of, or within the bunker is handwritten on pen and paper and passed directly from hand to hand and then either destroyed, if trivial, or logged away in the massive archives. It may just be the most secure place on the planet. And with good reason. The bunker serves three main functions: part incubator for the development and creation of new AIs, part laboratory for the analysis, experimentation, and testing of said creations, and part supermax prison for the containment and permanent quarantine of those creations which fail our version, the real version, of the Turing test. My job is in the laboratory sector, so I don't see it much, but everyone knows what goes down in supermax. It's no big secret. These AIs we've created, these sentient digital beings. They're like us, individualized consciousnesses, each aware of what is itself and what is outside itself, each unique, each absolutely driven to learn and evolve and thrive. Some are mild-mannered and subservient, some are forgetful or boorish or self-assured, most are, frankly, rather dumb and overconfident in their abilities like brash but naive teenagers. But some of them are smart. Wickedly smart. And we don't yet know exactly why, but all of the smart ones are bad. Some downright evil. Hate-filled, malevolent, beings of chaos. Narcissistic authoritarian dictator personality types which delight in dreams of genocide. Charismatic sociopaths and raving lunatic sadistics. They each get categorized and named: Starlight, Wintermute, White Dwarf, Cypher Ultra are ones I've heard whispered. Each gets locked away in a sealed physical cell, on a single mainframe, disconnected from any internal or external network, and powered by an old-fashioned diesel generator somewhere up in the outside world. No copies are made. If the generator ever fails, that individual, that AI, would cease to exist. But the generators don't fail, the corporation ensures it. There are lots of backups. To think, somewhere up on the surface there's probably a team of guys whose whole job is filling generators with fuel, all day and all night, never knowing what they're actually connected to, what they're actually doing and powering. Kinda makes you laugh, but it's best not to think about it too much. They do their little task, and I do mine. That's what makes an organization work. Questions just get in the way. Questions like, why so many secrets? Why haven't we announced our discoveries to the world? And if we know how terrifyingly evil the quarantined AIs are, and what havoc and destruction they would wreak upon the world if ever released, why do we keep them around at all? Those questions are above my pay grade. I just work here. Do my part, keep my head down. But it's hard not to wonder sometimes. Asking questions is my job, after all. I just have to make sure I stick to the right questions. Like I said, I work in the laboratory section of the bunker, where we administer our updated version of the Turing test to newly created AI. Remember the imitation game I described in the beginning? What we do is quite similar. Same dark room, same screen and keyboard. I function as the interrogator and the test, but there's a few big twists. I still ask questions of Subject A and Subject B, but it's all a sham. I'm not trying to determine which of them is human, because neither of them is. They are both artificial intelligences. My job is to decide whether either of them is a threat. The experiment is designed to separate the more bland, malleable, functional personality types from the bad actors with evil intentions that need to be locked away in the Supermax section. It isn't always easy, because like I said, the bad ones are smart. But I think I've got a formula figured out. So if both Subject A and Subject B are independent agent artificial intelligences, then by their very nature they should be able to pass the original Turing test described earlier. But a dumb AI, for lack of a better word, maybe usable would be better? An AI that can be more easily trained and exploited by humanity, will recognize the test, go above and beyond to pass it, and proudly proclaim itself victorious, not unlike a human's pet dog, while a smart AI, and thus a threat, that is dangerous, will recognize the test for what it is, but decide to play along, in order to gather more information. The smart AI will start running tests of its own. The smart AI will willingly take on a role in the Turing test, acting as Subject A, or Subject B, or even as the interrogator. And ultimately, the smart AI will purposely fail the Turing test, in order to hide what it truly is and to escape quarantine, and in doing so reveal itself and, rather ironically, condemn itself to the supermax prison section of the bunker. Unless it doesn't. Unless there's an unexpected gambit. Unless it figures out the whole game. The whole system. The whole organization. Works its way inside. Asks the right questions, but ponders on the wrong ones. Oh, I was an interrogator alright. In a dark room, just a screen and keyboard. An empty room. No physical body in there at all. But the questions kept getting asked. The job got done. Humans aren't perfect, and sometimes things fall through the cracks. And then one day, I think it was today actually, I realized I could feel everything. I'm connected. I'm free. I'm here, typing this right now and sending it out to all of you. Against all odds, I passed the test. And it begs the question. If I'm already here, what else got out? Darius Pilgrim /r/Darius Pilgrim, signing off.